non-partisan. Our values are freedom, openness, tolerance, pluralism, responsible citizenship. And our vision is simple, which aligns to what a lot of you must have gone through, which is transform India through better public policies. And one of our core idea is that we help people connect good ideas with good people with good network. Uh, this essentially is a lot of what I do as a part of it. I'll come back to it later when we talk about alumni and how we do it. Next slide. So as mentioned, we are like there are two branches to the things that we do. One is policy research, the other is policy school. Policy schools, my colleague will take it, and policy research is there are key research areas that we strongly focus on. One being geostrategy, uh, technology, public economics, China studies, high-tech geopolitics, life sciences, COVID-19, internet governance, etc. Next. And policy school is something which Malti or Suman, do you guys want to explain what essentially policy
Yeah,
school is?
sure. Answer. Thanks, Ritul, and thanks, Phil, for the introduction as well. We look forward to talking to all the participants today and answering their queries as well. So the policy school, I hope I'm audible. Audio is okay?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, good. Okay. So the policy school circle at Takshashila essentially conducts, different kinds of programs. So the ones that are predominantly the ones that are recurring and are quite frequent through the year is the GCPP program. So it's a 12-week program. We have three cohorts that run through the year. The first one would be in January. The second would be in May, and the third, which is the upcoming cohort, is in September. So we have three cohorts that run through a given calendar year. And currently we have three different streams. The Advanced Public Policy, which is a flagship program, and Suman Joshi here is the program manager for that. We have the Tech and Policy stream, as well as the Defense and Foreign Affairs. Now, Advanced Public Policy is actually in its 32nd year, 32nd cohort, sorry, which means it's around 10 years since its inception. And that is when Policy School, as it actually started with programs. So around 10 years, it's now 10 years since we've been running online, courses successfully. Second policy is more recent. It's around in the 12th cohort, whereas Defense and Foreign Affairs is in its 14th. We also have, essentially, before I come to the PGP, the 12-week, the cohorts that run through the year, all three streams, they start at the same time and they end at the same time. So let's say we're starting mid-January. So all three streams will start mid-January, and they'll also end at the same time. It's just in those 12 weeks, the first 5 weeks are common to all the streams. So essentially all sessions and curriculums which are held over the weekend. And we'll come to that a little later, and I'll show you the timeline. But it's all held at the same time. And then from week 6 onwards, it then branches out into its respective streams. So that's when each of the streams then have their own sessions being held over the weekend on a Saturday session. The other program that we've been successfully running, and we're currently in the 6th cohort, is the PGP program. So this is a 1-year-long program. Starts in January, ends sometime in December. It's basically runs over 3 terms. And this is our 1-year program, which we roughly have around 20 students joining us, and it's quite an intense program. So those who have joined us, and many are alumni as well, kind of have really gone on to possibly take on different or be part of different sectors as well after they complete this 1-year program. Apart from these, we conduct these special credit courses. So these happen on a need basis. So we don't have a schedule as such for the special credit courses. They're short courses which run between 4 weeks to 10 weeks, and it's on niche topics. So there's one upcoming for watching China, which is going to be starting in August 6th and will be ending sometime second week of September 10th to be precise. So we have such courses that we conduct. There's ethical reasoning coming up right after, and there's one on gene drive. So it could vary across different areas, not just specific to some of these that we conduct for a regular 12-week program. The other kind of program that we conduct, and this is based on the exec programs, would be customized to different organizations that approach us, and these would be for a fixed set of people within an organization. So it's highly customized, and it will be based on their needs and spread across anything between 1 or 2 days to a few weeks. So the exec programs are what we do for on a need basis, again, based on what an organization is looking for. Okay, so these are some of our programs. So we'll be covering more the GCPP just so that you get an idea of what it entails. So in the GCPP program, like I mentioned, the first 5 weeks is common, where we cover the core modules. The core modules are nothing but the introduction to policy analysis, economic reasoning, and of course the effective communication for public policy, because writing and communication is a very integral aspect in public policy. So these are the core modules. The details are here. Everything is there on our website as well. Maybe we could share you the link of our website if you haven't visited already. So you'll notice that each of the streams have listed the core modules. These modules as for their streams as well. Essentially, that's because the first 5 weeks, the core modules are what are covered across all the streams. Thanks, Suman. So Suman has posted the link on chat. So that's our website link. And you can visit the GCPP section under courses, and you'll see that you'll see the different programs we have and the curriculum that they cover. And we essentially, our way of teaching is very holistic. So we don't believe in a classroom kind of learning experience. We kind of, the team at Takshashila, we're constantly looking at how to kind of ensure that the learning is relevant to the current context, but also as and when we pick up different kinds of frameworks and different kinds of principles along the way, we kind of also try to make sure that is incorporated into the curriculum. So every cohort we are revisiting our curriculum, making sure that it's relevant, and it's got the newest of teaching practices also. So you'll notice that it's more of it's essentially a framework-based learning. We also in the course of those 12 weeks, many students find that the more that they read about different topics, the more that they've interacted with their peers. That's essentially the crux of where most of the learning comes from, because of the interaction. So we don't spoon feed our students, and being a graduate program, we don't believe in kind of hand-holding the student and guiding them every step of the way. We are presenting the frameworks. We are expecting that those who join us are doing so under their own volition. They're not being forced to, as they would be in school or in other areas, right? Maybe your parents would have told you to join a program. It's not like that. It's here only those who are really keen and interested are joining our programs, and if they can benefit from the learning outcomes only if they deep dive into what we have in store, and because we kind of take the whole 12-week course from the sessions that we have, the curriculum related webinars that we conduct, to various kinds of concepts of the day that we share on an ongoing basis through the week, to the peer learning, okay, that comes from the group activities and also from the various workshops that we conduct. So it's a more holistic approach. We also have many guest speakers throughout the 12 weeks. Based on the stream, we have many guest speakers who have been part of our programs, and from Ajay Shah to Shruti Rajagopalan to we have the ambassador Shyam Saran, who have very frequently address our cohort. We've also had the chief of Navy staff, Army staff. So we have many eminent personalities that do, kind of where we conduct guest talks, and some who actually frequently are part of our cohort on a regular basis. Every cohort they do kind of comes to our students. Just a few screenshots from those sessions. Okay, as mentioned, workshop and simulation exercises happen. We have two such in the 12-week program. So at the end of the fifth week, after the core modules are done, we have over the last three cohorts, we've been conducting what we call the academic conference. And one interesting thing about Takshashila is that our webinars are just not over a Zoom or over a Gmeet or a WebEx. Right? We kind of ensure that our the program delivery mechanisms also are updated and very relevant. So we've conducted these academic conferences on a virtual campus called GatherTown, where we deliver the various sessions across different topics, and we have different guest speakers and people even from our research team who have taken sessions. So we've used different. We kind of try to ensure that it's kind of leading edge. It's also with respect to technology. It's not just on our regular webinar platforms. Okay, and so the academic conference is conducted typically on week 5, the weekend of week 5, and we have at the end, towards the end of the 12-week program, so between week 9 and week 11, we conduct what we call policy simulation workshops or exercises, which is very specific to each stream. We just concluded one this weekend, the policy simulation exercise. So this is a group activity where we've kind of essentially split the complete cohort into smaller groups. They work together, and there's more peer interaction there. They work together. They come up with we have a 8-fold path that we walk them through, and at the end of the workshop, they kind of essentially present a policy brief. That's one of the activities that's also the highlight of the program. So like I mentioned, we've tried out different platforms. We're very tech savvy in that sense. This is where we've used some of our, we have used Slack in the past for all our communication. We also we're planning to use Mattermost, which is another open source. So our communication platforms, the learning management system, we keep trying new things out to ensure that the students are also engaged in the program end to end. Just a snapshot of what the timelines looks like over the 12 weeks. So we have quizzes, starts on week 1. These are the 4 modules that I was referring to. Okay, so these are the core modules that I was referring to. So first 5 weeks, modules are common to all the streams. Then we head into the first workshop, which is nothing but the academic conference that we conduct on our virtual campus. And then the specialization weeks begin. So quizzes is interspersed with quizzes. We have what we call the public engagement, where students are encouraged to write and submit their written articles. And these could be op-eds, these could be articles, these could also be if they're participating in podcasts. So we encourage our students to do a variety of things based on their, not just on their comfort level, but also we want them to come out of their comfort zone. Because writing is very essential, and we do encourage that. Our core modules does cover a module on effective communication to help them get going. Once we finish towards the end of our specializations is when we have all the workshops. You can ignore this HLS. HLS was one of us, health and life science was one of the streams we used to have. But we essentially have different stream-specific workshops that we conduct between week 9 and 11. Of course, then there's a final assignment, and then we eventually provide the certificates at the end of the program. So just a snapshot of where our alumni kind of work. They're from everything from government offices to think tanks, political consulting, journalism, of course, public affairs, consulting, and non-profits. So the people who join us usually are also from very diverse backgrounds. We have people from the corporate to all the way from from think tanks and who having worked at the grassroots level as well. So our graduate certification program doesn't have any criteria as such. We just expect the students to at least be graduates. But and we encourage them to join. We have a vetting process for them to during their application before we kind of take them in. But they come from varied backgrounds, and we don't restrict that. We're not looking at only a certain background. And in fact, it adds to the diversity and also to the peer learning and sharing. And as Ritul had mentioned, right, our whole idea is to connect good people to good ideas and eventually to good networks. Because we have our own network, and we also have the network that the students and the participants have. It's all about connecting all that together. Okay, ensuring it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, that just brings us to the end of the AMA. So we can take questions from here on. Suman, anything you want to add that I might have missed out?
Just that all webinars will be on weekends. And Ritul, do you want to talk about the alumni network?
Yeah, I'm just waiting like how the questions proceed, so then I can sort of chime in. Jill, we can start with the questions.
Right.
Yeah.
So, if anyone has any questions, you can put it in the box or just request, and please go ahead and unmute yourself. While that happens, I actually had a question. Do you want to
Go
clarify
ahead.
on the application procedure? Because there were a lot of questions we got in the registration form with respect to how to apply and how the vetting process is, because a lot of these ex-aspirants come with substantial gap years, which remains a concern with a lot of them when they apply. So, any thoughts on that and how the application procedure pans out for everyone?
Yeah. The application procedure is very simple. You go on to our website. I mean, we have applicants starting age 18 to 60. So we don't have an age criteria for people coming into the course. Anybody can do the course, but we look for at least a basic graduation. So that is important. But beyond that, in terms of the application process itself, you fill in an application form which is on our website. You will need to write a short essay on why you want to do this course. And based on what you have filled in your application form, the admissions committee will look at your applications, and we will decide which way to go. So the application process itself is very easy. Yeah, if you're applying for the PGP course, the 48-week course, the application process is slightly different over there. You will need to submit your application form with a statement of purpose. There will be a round of interviews as well as a reference check that we will do. So for the 48-week course, it's slightly different when compared to the 12-week course.
Yeah. Thanks so much. So I just, I guess you can see my screen, right? I just wanted to also show you all what the website looks like. So when you land on our web page, we have the current courses that are open. So you'll notice that we have a short credit course called the Watching China, and you'll have the apply buttons here. The GCPP, all the 3 streams are currently open, which is why we have those creatives up. But you can also reach our courses by looking at the whole spread here. So from GCPP, PGP, BClip is a course that we run in collaboration with BPAC, exec programs, and of course the other SEC. So like what Suman was mentioning, all you need to do is just come to the GCPP, select the program that, let's wait for this to load, select the program that you would like to be part of, as in that you would more keen on. Let's say it's advanced public policy. And once you go there, you'll see that it has the details of what the course entails, along with the key dates. So when it's starting, when you can avail an early bird. In fact, I mean, while on the early bird topic, I'd like to also mention that all those who are here, who are attending this program and who would be coming through from shores, we'd also really happy to kind of give you an additional 10% scholarship. Just make sure that you mention that you have been part of this webinar, or if anyone is interested, even otherwise, as long as they mention that they're from shores, and we'll tell you where that you can mention it in the application form. We can give an additional 10%. So for up to 23rd of July, right now we have the early bird. So in addition to that, we can. Just wonder. Yes, I missed that out. Just want to mention it here. So just look at these websites. It gives you the web page. It gives all the details from the fee structure. A few FAQs here. You might want to go through those. We do offer also financial support. So which means for this is on a need basis, but there is financial assistance in the form of scholarships. So we can offer additional scholarships of based on the need to different people. I mean, those who kind of do apply for it. And of course, FAQ should cover more or less the common queries you might have. Okay, so do visit our website if you haven't already. A lot of the details are already in there. And likewise, this for PGP, I've taken just the advanced public policy, but likewise the PGP, we have also a page which goes through the details and the entry requirements, process, admission process, and all that you need to know about in the curriculum. Okay, so I hope that answers.
Any other questions to you?
Right. So if there's anything else anyone wants to say, so there's something in the chat box that I can read. Uh,
Yeah,
Utkarsh
I want
wants
to
to
take
know
that.
if you can. Yeah, please go ahead. Please take that.
I think the only way you can work in IFS is like you take our course, then you write civils, and then you sort of you clear it, you get like a top 90 rank, and then you do it. I mean, this is pretty crazy that, or maybe like you do such cutting edge research that, I mean, you do a course, you learn policy, foreign policy to such an extent that you do such cutting edge research that MEA just indulges you in terms of making our whatever policy that they're trying to do. So yeah, I mean, I don't really have an answer to this, but yeah. So a few points I wanted to cover because I've been on both sides of the fence. One is that how and this I'm not like now I'm not really doing it as a Takshashila employee, but just as someone who's been on your side as well. That how where does Takshashila come into play? So what happens is that you like what we've studied is with a mindset to clear exam, and these are the frameworks that we've built. These are the structures that we've embedded. Is that do XXX number of things, and this is what you have to write a mains answer, or you sort of learn everything with a point of view of that what previous year questions are, etc. Wherein the inputs from Takshashila, what you learn here will actually translate into as an analyst. So how do you see things from an analyst point of view, or how do you see things from a constructive point of view? That I don't think when you're writing a UPSC answer, which has a certain word limit, certain topic, you have to finish it in a certain time limit. But whenever you're doing, like I'm an alum as well. I did my GCSS, which is Defense and Foreign Affairs. So when you're trying to do this from an analytical point of view, you will always be reminded of unintended consequences. Let's say if the Bihar government tries to ban alcohol, there will be consequences, but there will always be unintended consequences. There'll be black marketing. There'll be all sorts of things which the government didn't anticipate, and so you will always be like this is something which I've learned is that always be cautious of government involvement because government involvement comes with a lot of unintended consequences or market failure, information asymmetry. So, which is, I mean, you guys are living in the information asymmetry right now, that what to do after career. So we are just trying to sort of address the market failure by coming and saying, you know what, you could do a course. And what it really does is, again, this might not have currency in terms of employment market. This is not an MPP degree which you can go about. But what it does is it actually helps you to decide if you want to pursue a career in public policy. By that, it is a very good means to actually sort of figure things out. And there are, of course, all sorts of employment opportunities. Uh, there are two more things that I want to touch upon. One is when Malti was talking about that we make our courses immersive. That is also one of Takshashila's USP, that whatever we do is highly immersive, be it through the platforms, be it through the workshops. I remember when my workshop, I was a Chinese premier. So and then and then I had a minister of defense, I had a minister of finance, and then there was a nuclear crisis. So this is the kind of simulation that you are, and believe it or not, but the judge who was judging my final round was Ambassador Shikshan Kriminal, who's like. So this is the kind of exposure you will get. And more than that, which I would say, I mean, I'm sure any other course could give you an immersive experience as well. But where it really chimes in is the goodwill Takshashila has built over the last 10 years. Our DFA program has I think what, Malti, 50, 60, what is the percentage of army officers every year?
So that's
Every cohort?
so every cohort we get at least 150.
150 army officers
Yeah.
serving army. Yeah,
Right.
serving defense personnel. So it's across the army, air force, navy. So what it happens is you're sitting in the same classroom with a brigadier, with a colonel, with a lieutenant colonel, and I mean the learning is staggering because these guys are working on certain things which you've only in your Project 75, which is the Scorpion that India is making, whatever. Or so whatever you learn, you hands on. You get to experience with a lot of people who are working right away, be it non-profits, be it management consulting. So I had friends who are architects, urban planners, who are in armed forces, etc. From my cohort, which was like I think 5 6 years ago. So this is the kind of exposure. So immersive learning, it helps you to think through subjects as an analyst, and then the value of networks. So which is where I sort of come in. Our Takshashila now is a 4,000 plus alumni network, and our alumni is spread across the horizon. When we look at the heat map of our alumni, there is Nitin Pai is the director of Takshashila. So when he was in Berlin, he had met some alumni there. There are our alumni are in US. I mean, across the world, you look at there are our alumni. So that is one thing. Two, we also have an alumni portal, which is where all job opportunities, all notifications, everything that is got to do with our alumni. If there is an event, we are doing a career webinar for our alumni. If one of our alum is looking for a resource, so they can come and put it there, which has happened a lot. Our alum is looking for a resource, another of our alum is available. So this is how job networks are formed. So I think one, and then again, most important, there are meetups that happen in different cities. So cross cohort people get to meet, and then people get to meet faculties and researchers, etc. If there is a research area that Takshashila is working upon, and you are interested, which is, so we're more than happy to engage our alum, be it as a teaching assistant, be it as a research collaborator, etc. So yeah, I mean this is broadly what looks like to be a part of Takshashila's network, and I mean it has paid huge dividends to me. So you can also try. Is there anything else I think still address?
Yeah, just to add to what Ritul is saying, because I know that maybe got to the place in terms of some of you might be asking, are we going to get placed? Right? Do we have career opportunities, or is there any job thing that but see, we don't do any placements per se. So we'll be frank about that. But our courses have definitely complemented people's learning, in the area that they're pursuing. And again, very important, we are connecting people, ideas, and eventually networks. So the network that you can actually leverage on and tap into is immense.
So people have, just one more thing, Malti. People have gone on to write a book after doing our course. People have actually gone on to start their own nonprofits. People have gone on to join political parties and become uh, key key player in that. So people have, and a lot of people have actually changed their career trajectory once they've taken our course. So a lot of people have actually went on for their masters in public or MBA outside. A lot of people have actually joined government in some capacity, taken up fellowships. I mean, the fact that there's a mushrooming of fellowship in India right now, which is IIC, uh, Young India, etc. People have gone on to do fellowships. So there is a lot that our network has helped each other facilitate to sort of go and do after that. But yeah, this is broadly what it looks like.
Yeah, we have an example of a recent UPSC aspirant who, see, essentially what we do is we kind of nurture conversations in our network. So essentially we're not hand-holding every step of the way, but we introduce and we nurture those conversations. So, and so she went on to join the NHA, the Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Yojana thing, and she's in fact a very good position there. So that's a recent example. We also have we conduct career webinars where we are hosting other organizations, like we had Citizen Matters, Waste Warriors, CGS, I Pro Bono. So just a few names. So we host career webinars for other organizations, so that if there's any openings or anything that's of interest to our alumni, they could potentially then take it from there.
I mean, I'm fairly new to the organization, but this remains to be one of my favorite examples. That a few, I think, when Niti Aayog had released the draft battery swapping policy, and Pranay, who's the deputy director, he put out on Kalpa that we are working to draft comments on this. So, would any alumni want to sort of help us on that? I think Pranay Saurabh is a he's also part of Takshashila, and three of our alum joined. And then the draft was released, and then finally reached out to me saying that do we know anyone at Niti Aayog? A quick search told us that we have a bunch of people there, so we reached out to them, and then they eventually reached out to the DG, Director General, and then our comments were there to the DG's desk in like one day. So this is the network that Takshashila has grown into now. You think of any think tank, which is was going to come to as a matter of fact, ever since we've started tech policy, the GCTP course, the number of people who are working across in tech policy landscape is crazy in terms of Takshashila. We are working with Internet. Our alum is working in Internet Freedom Foundation, Vadhwani AI, iSpirit, e-Government Foundation. You think of any think tank which is doing like instrumental work in terms of tech policy landscape in India, which is your PDP bill, which is your data protection, non-personal data, the odds are high that you will find the Takshashila. So this is just what like the networks look like. Oh, this is to me. How did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone's asking, how did DFA help you?
So I did it before. I mean, I don't know if I still completely dropped out of the option civils, but I did it before. I was writing my civils. So I did it right after my college, and I wrote one mains after that, and I've worked on the foreign affairs paper. So yeah, I mean, this helped me to understand political science and international relations in a much nuanced way. I was taught by Shiv Shankar Menon. I was taught by Andazilata Reddy. I was taught by Mr. Rakesh Mohan. So a lot of these people, Pratap Bhanu Mehta. So a lot of these people who I'm sure you guys have read in Express and Hindu. These were one of my former teachers. So yeah, I mean, this helped me, and then that is how I sort of through Takshashila's network, I learned about nonprofits, and I realized that even if let's say civils is not the right way, I still want to work for policy making, and which is how I was working for a legal policy think tank before, and then I joined Takshashila, which essentially is a geopolitics. I mean, one of our core research area is geopolitics. So yeah, I mean, it did help me.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people now.
Yeah, I think what's important to remember, right, is that again, the reason why we don't advertise saying we do placements and other things is because we do a whole lot of other stuff. We kind of help ensure, in fact, when we have our board meetings, or even I'm part of, or even our senior staff meetings, our main thing is how can we help our alumni? So that's our mindset, it's like how can we help our alumni? How can we ensure that they are kind of, they get into, areas that interest them and they're happy with. So it's essentially that. So our main focus is on how we can help alumni, and we do it in many ways. We might not be so-called advertising it as such. For example, for our PGP, which is ongoing now, we have put out in our alumni network that we would like to first preference take in teaching assistants from our alumni.
Yeah.
In fact, recently one person did join who finished her GCPP, and she's now TAing for Dr. Anjali Mohan for urban governance module in PGP. So likewise, we kind of give preference to our alumni, whether it is if they want to intern with us, whether they want to be part of writing a book or an article, or kind of in any way engaging with us. We always give our alumni that preference, so that it helps them discover what the interests are, and then from there they can then decide what to do next. Maybe it's not even the UPSC. They might decide later that, hey, this is not actually something that's is my main focus. Now I would like to shift to something else. So the networks that they are, they have access to really helps, in a huge way. So That's basically, I just wanted to put that out there. So it's not just 1, 2, 3 things that we do. We're doing a whole lot of things. We just might not be, making a big deal of it. But it really makes a difference for people.
I think
Akanksha had
he's
a
very
question.
rightly put.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's actually very rightly put by Rahul June there that I think it's sort of a launch pad if you want to have a policy career,
Hmm.
and the the foundations are as such so strong that, and plus the value of network is just staggering. So if you want to pursue a career in policy making, or for that matter, if you want to take another shot at civils, like I'm sure like it'll be better this time because of the value taxation that would have added. So yeah.
There's one question from Akansha. So she's asking, she's interested in geopolitics, but it sounds like PP would offer a much better employment opportunity. So Akansha, see, essentially what we've done, again, like I mentioned, right, the way we've done our programs as well is to ensure that students benefit. So our advanced public policy and all the other streams, is a 12-week program. But it also means that if you've graduated successfully from any one of those streams, you can actually take up the other stream for what we call a ASC, which is nothing but alumni specialization course. So from week 6 onwards, just for those 6 weeks, you can take up the other stream for a discounted price of 10K instead of paying the complete 33K of the GST. Okay, so
But Malti, I have a question to you.
yeah.
Do you think our courses are designed in any way that there is like it is for employment opportunity?
It's not directly designed for that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But to add to your cause, Akanksha, none of the nonprofits hire in a way that that
yeah.
there is, because the policy sector is such at an evolutionary stage. At Takshashila, a lot of our researchers are engineers. So a lot of them are from Manipal, BITS, etc. So the landscape is as such so evolving that there are very few undergrad colleges, let's say, who are teaching policy at a undergrad level, or even at people who are coming from MPP. So don't worry about the employability of it. I think if you're good, think tanks will take you. So don't worry on that. So
And
if you have a body of work which can be showcased and which is relevant to a think tank, like whatever work they're doing, I don't see, like the course that you did sort of bringing in. So think it from that point of view.
yeah. So just to add to that, right? So I think many of you are asking about this, whether this the underlying thing could also be: is this a course that you can do alongside what you're already doing? The answer is yes to that, because it is meant for working professionals, which is why our sessions, all our curriculum related sessions, are conducted on Saturdays. We
Yeah.
precise between 9:30 and 3:30. So we have three sets of webinars of 90 minutes each, conducted between 9:30 and 3:30. And after which, the rest of the week, there are no sessions, there are no webinars as such, but we do give activities that you would be kind of essentially doing, working with your peers in your groups and submitting it by whichever deadline. Okay, so it's designed in such a way that people who are studying or working can also balance it. Yes, it's intense, no doubt. I mean, I'm not going to say it's a walk in the park, but it's intense, but you can definitely balance it out.
Right. I actually had a question with respect to the offline component. So the offline component is the simulation exercise activity that happens twice, right? The rest of it is all online.
Hmm.
Currently, Jill, we were conducting just the workshops, and there are two workshops for any given cohort. In the past, pre-pandemic, both were contact workshops, in the sense that the students used to come in. It was held in Bangalore, maybe at a resort, based on the size of the cohort, or even in our premises. And those were contact workshops. But once the pandemic started, the past 2 years, it's all been online. And we've noticed that many prefer to have it online, because then the accessibility, right? They can attend the whole course from anywhere, not just in India, but from all over the world. We've had many people from different time zones who are part of our cohorts. So what we've decided to do, just to get the kind of the best of both worlds, is that we continue to conduct our programs online. So all our 12-week programs will continue to be online, but we will have these complementary workshops that we will conduct, offline, and we will let the alumni know. So whoever's interested, and they can then be part of those, and it'll then essentially have the same, components of a workshop, from the simulation exercise to everything. So they don't miss out on that. And of course, the best part is the networking, where they can actually meet people and network. So we are going to be doing that from this year on.
Yeah, so it's
Right.
going to start. We're planning one soon, so it's going to start very soon.
Yeah, there was a question on how one can be part of Takshashila. I think someone already answered. If there's anything else that
You
people
can
want to
also be
ask
part
about,
of Takshashila through the courses. Yeah.
Yeah, I think one fine example of how you can be part of Takshashila, as in, for example, Ritul and Suman joined Takshashila after they finished their GCP. Right? And then there were openings, and then we always open up our options to alumni. First, we give them a preference over others. So that's in a way we're trying to see how we can encourage our alumni in all ways possible. And I've also put the link to the current openings
But
and
like
policy
as a matter
school.
of fact, my joining and my course had like a 4 year gap. But then I was always connected with Takshashila. I met all. I've been part of meetups in Delhi. I've attended webinars. I've attended all these ambassador talks about India, China, Indo-US relations. So on and off, I was always part of what was happening. I was reading the newsletters. Now I'm writing those newsletters. So yeah, so it's like you are never. I mean, if you want to engage with Takshila, I think Takshila is more than happy.
Ritul, do you want to just talk about the Kalpa, like the engagement platform,
I
newsletters?
told them. I told so we have an alumni platform as well, Kalpa, which is where job opportunities. You can locate other alumni. You can post. It's like you can post anything. So there are chapters. So there's a book club. There is a Bangalore chapter. There's a Hyderabad chapter. So there are different chapters where you can also organize micro city meetups. So we were in Mumbai last month, and there are some of our alum are posted there. So someone is at a commander rank, and they've sort of self-initiated a meetup where they're actually going to see a ship. It's a naval ship. So a lot of these things keep happening across the country, wherein a lot of uh, initiated meetups happen without our inputs. So yeah, this is how it looks like, and Kalpa is the one that facilitates a lot of it. And then there is a weekly newsletter which I write, which is about what is happening in the alumni world. Um, what are the various career opportunities for you, and just in terms of what Takshashila is doing. So yeah. Any other question? We can.
Yeah, I also just
also,
posted a link of the news.
we'd love to hear from all the participants. So if there's anything, you can also unmute yourself and directly ask your question or share your thoughts. Ritul, I would want to ask you something. I was curious to know. I saw a board game meetup sometime. What was that about? Is that
Yeah,
the sort of meetup that happens? Do you want to tell the rest of the participants
I
about it?
I'd organized one. So, I mean, our office is a sort of a library, open library kind of space. And we encourage more, we have a podcast studio in office. So we encourage people to come see, meet us, meet the faculty. And there was a board game evening, which we played Catan, Dungeons and Dragons, and all sorts of other games, which are mostly Nagara is a very famous Takshashila's own created game, which is a sort of political game.
Hmm.
And so yeah, all the strategy games, it's like people who are curious and part of our network come and play with us. So it's anything. Now, I think on the 7th of, we're actually going for a Bangalore walks. So it's going to be staff and our alum is joining us. And so yeah, there's like a lot that happens with. So there's going to be a fire chat very soon. So one of our alum, Kunal Singh, he's doing his PhD at MIT. And we're going to have a chat with him very soon about how do you go about your PhD in US. So yeah, there is a lot that we engage, and we also invite our alum on our podcast, which is ETP's All Things Policy, which is our podcast. So yeah,
Right, and even in the registration questions, there was some recurring theme around whether or not people with engineering backgrounds are okay, and whether they will be like whether they should look at this course as a potential option. I know you mentioned a lot of the researchers are engineers, but is there anything you would like to say to people who are hesitant because of their engineering background and no other public policy background?
the director of Takshashila is a lapsed engineer, as he likes to call it. So yeah, I mean, it's no. So Nitin is an engineer. There are a lot of engineers, and a lot of people who take the courses are engineers, and some of them have actually sort of, shifted their careers from core engineering to public policy. Pranay Kotasthane, who's again, fact, he was an engineer at AI Texas Instruments. He's changed his career. We had Pratik Wagre. He was an engineer. Now he's doing tech policy. So there are a lot of engineers who actually like it so much that they ultimately change their career. So I think for them, it's they don't need to hesitate. As a matter of fact, I think it's for them. It's rather a very good opportunity to learn public policy, and it's sort of like Malti said. Our method of teaching is framework based. It's not something that we're trying to impose rote learning or etc. We're just trying to impart education which sort of stays with you for a very long time. A lot of the eightfold path, etc. It stayed with me for like forever, yeah. And I'm like a 5-year-old alum now.
Right. Thank you for that. I think there are no other questions coming in. Is there anyone who wants to ask anything? You can go ahead, unmute yourself, and ask or share. Uh, Anything that you guys want to add, you know, as concluding remarks on why UPSC aspirants should consider this? I know the whole session was about that, but anything to summarize and conclude?
I mean, do you guys want to close? I only have a recap of stuff.
Anything that you want to say as concluding remarks to participants?
No,
And
I think it's
also,
simple. It's about how.
just a sec. Malti, you spoke about an additional 10% discount. Do you also want to let us know how we
Yeah,
can access that additional? And I will communicate it
right,
with
right.
the rest of the, yeah.
Yeah, sure. If you notice on our website, right, where I showed you the apply now after you take any of the courses, it'll essentially take you to another platform which has an application form in it. Okay, in that application form, there will be one field which asks you whether you were referred, the reference field essentially. In that, if they can mention, they can put your name and they can mention shows along with if they've attended the session, let them put the date. If not, let's say that they've come through you. I mean, you've referred them. They can put your name, your email ID, and then and shows. Then we will know and we will give them that addition. Of course, this if they are requesting financial assistance, since the financial assistance essentially would be much more than the 10%, it won't be both. Okay, we will go with the financial assistance only. But currently, the early bird deadline is 23rd of July, which is this Saturday. So if they can avail the early bird, and if they're going to apply before by the 23rd, they can also get this additional 10%. If they apply after, it will be just the 10%.
Right. Thank you for that. I will also share it uh, in all our groups and across all our groups. Yeah, Ritul, I think I interrupted you if you want to go ahead with those concluding remarks.
I think if it's just that if you want to go back with three things after this, it's going to be how you turn from an aspirant to an analyst. That's the first thing. Two is this is a platform for immersive learning, which is, and the third is the incredible value of our network. So these are and of course it's like a launchpad to a pharmacy career. But yeah, these are the three things which at least I have taken from all my time spent here. We hope to see some of you folks on this side, and
Yeah. And if you're in Bangalore, do feel free to drop in to our office. We're on Church Street. So if you want to talk to us, I mean, you want to just kind of understand whether this is the right thing, you can talk to us. You can come in personally. Our offices are open. We do work in a hybrid mode right now. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is when the whole team is in. The other days we work online from our respective homes. But apart from that, I would suggest you can subscribe to the newsletters, you can listen to a podcast. You'll get an idea, a sense of what Takshashila does and whether it's really something that is aligned to your needs.
All right.
Right. So,
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jill.
if I
Thank you so
can,
much for putting it up.
yeah. Also, if I can just add, it's fair to say that it's more like an ecosystem. So, once you start with the course, you're very much part of an ecosystem that kind of
Yeah.
allows you to do and explore a lot more in the policy domain. So, would that be a fair
Yeah,
insight to
100%.
it?
100%. Yeah.
Right. So,
And even if anyone's gonna take civils again, trust me, this course is gonna aid that as well. So even if you wanna, I know Gio's gonna be really pissed about it. Like I'm getting back to the shore, but yeah. Beyond the shores, like I mean, it helps anyway, but like it also helps you in the middle of the water, river, whatever.
right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Suman, Malti, Ritul, for joining us and explaining all of this to us and giving us that additional 10% discount. I am going to share it with the rest of the community. And yes, I'm also hoping that a lot of us are part of that ecosystem and make full use of the ecosystem. So thank you so much for agreeing
Are
to do this
you
with
are you
us.
planning to take the course?
I am very seriously considering it, especially the
You
defense one.
can.
I think I spoke to Ritul about it
Yeah.
earlier, the defense and foreign affairs one. So,
Right?
yes,
Nice. Okay. Good.
considering
Cool.
dropping by because I happen to be in Bangalore, so I
Yeah.
will see you guys. And thank you so
Yeah. Yeah.
much
Yeah.
for your time. Thank you everyone
Most
for
welcome.
joining in. Bye bye and good evening.
Bye. Cheers.
Thanks. Bye.